What's up, everybody? You're listening to Mac and D's, and today I want to talk about the government shutdown that has a lot of people angry and upset because they don't know when they'll get their next paycheck and how will they pay their bills, let alone feed their families. And also what we as black people can learn from it. I mean, we have everybody and their mama acting as if it's the end of the world, but who's really responsible for this shutdown going on for this long? Should we hold Trump responsible, even though he said he will take the blame for the shutdown? Or do we blame the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and the Democrats, who vowed that they would not give him the $5.7 billion for the wall? Now for the record, people, I'm not a political analyst or scientist. I'm just taking a common sense approach to make some sense of this shutdown. And I'm just going to say that the blame for the shutdown falls on the Democrats. And that's not because I'm a Trump supporter. That's because Trump told Democrats Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to their faces that he was going to shut down the government if he don't get the $5.7 billion for the wall. But the two Democrats said that's not going to happen. And here we are 25 days into 2019, and the Democrats refuse to come off their moral high horse and give President Donald Trump the $5.7 billion for the wall. The reason why the Democrats don't want to build a wall is because they want to increase their voter numbers with these migrants, because they realize that their core demographic of voters, which are black people, wasn't enough to defeat Trump in 2016, and they're not going to be enough to defeat him in 2020. Plus, the Democrats have only shown that they care more about sticking it to Trump than the people who are out here hurting because of the shutdown. It's political fuckery like this as to why black people need to start educating themselves on the fundamental workings of politics and learn political terms like partisanship, filibustering, Overton window, political strategy, or the good old boy network and know what they mean. Because we can no longer afford the comforts of blissful ignorance. Simply because America has become more tribalistic than it has ever been before. We have many different groups of people migrating here, and they're establishing a foothold for their own people. They're getting involved in local government, and they're sending their kids to college in hopes of one of them being qualified to run for a high political office one day. Anyways, back to the shutdown. Since the Democrats got back control of the House, they have only shown that they are solely committed to getting Trump out of power, even if it means some people are going to have to go hungry or end up homeless. And as long as Pelosi and the Democrats continue to play hardball with Trump, the shutdown is going to hurt black people the most, who are on food stamps and Section 8 housing. And despite the glee we have heard in the black manosphere over the Section 8 apocalypse, no one really wants to see women and children out on the street homeless and hungry. Nor do they want the burden of having to house and feed them. Plus, no one wants to move back in with family members that they don't really get along with. Because sometimes with family, the only way you can get along with them is by you having a place of your own and they have a place of their own. Because if you have to deal with them for more than 3 or 4 hours a day, things might get ugly between the two of you. And lastly, what black people should have learned from the shutdown is that the time has come for us to go into survival mode and start getting more involved in politics, whether it's on a local or federal level. Because fundamentally, politics is all about people or groups or tribes, whichever way you see it. And you want to make sure that your people benefit the most or get a higher percentage. Plus, you want to make sure that your own people have job and financial security, because the other groups and the other tribes are not your concern. And that's politics for you people. Finally, before I go, I want to say, start making these politicians work for you. Make them earn your vote. And don't just blindly vote for politicians without finding out what their policies are first. Because you should want to know if they're pro this or anti that before you give them your vote. And we can no longer afford to give one of our own a free pass just because the color of their skin is the same as ours. Because every brother ain't a brother and every sister ain't a sister. So remember that the next time you go out voting. Again, you're listening to Mac and D's. Please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I'm outie.